893.com. Scroll down and then click on the play button and you'll be able to listen to us. It's as easy as that. Or you can just find us on other radio directories like radiogarden.com, onlineradiobox.net, and so on, and you'll be able to listen to us. All right. We are live at the moment on Facebook, so join our Facebook Live on Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. Welcome once again to Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. This morning we'll be taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. I have the Daily Times newspaper, I have the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and I have the Punch newspaper this morning. We'll start with the Punch newspaper. The lead headline says, Pengasan fires back as Shetima defends Dangote. VP wants Labour Union not to hold nation hostage. Pengasan vows repeat strike if members are sacked again. Pro-Dangote protesters accuse Pengasan of sabotage. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. More headlines. Natasha resumes at Senate today after 6-month suspension. You find that story on page 8. Court remands a Lagos accountant over alleged 200 million naira theft. That's on page 5. ASU mobilizes chapters for October 13 warning strike. That's on page 3. More headlines. Enugu governor, minister trade words over alleged certificate forgery. That's on page 7. Insecurity. Tinubu to meet Council of State Police Thursday. That's on page 2. Petrol imports dropped to 8-year low. That's according to a report on page 25. And we see here 2027, lawyer asks court to stop Jonathan from contesting. You find that on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. In picture stories, protesters during the 12th day of a youth-led protest movement demanding the resignation of President Andry Rajoelina in Antananarivo, Madagascar. This was taken on Monday. More headlines. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the lead headline says, alleged genocide against Christians, Senate moves to counter narrative. May engage U.S. Congress. You find that on page 4. ASU mobilizes members for nationwide strike. You find that on page 3. Retired AVM Obi Erika dies mid-air on British Airways flights. That's on page 30. Court asked to restrain Jonathan from contesting 2027 presidential election. That's on page 4. Same-sex marriage. Church of Nigeria rejects election of new Archbishop of Canterbury. That's on page 8. Okay, more headlines. Tinubu orders reduction of 2026 Hajj fee. That's on page 30. Pengasan not greater than Nigeria, says federal government. You find that on page 8. Fire guts parts of Rivers Secretariat. That's on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. These are some of the headlines. On the front page of the Daily Times newspaper, alleged certificate forgery will be tasked INEC, ADC slams federal government as court adjourns suit by Naji. You find that on page 8 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Insecurity. Bandits kill groom, abducts bride, others in Zamfara. That's on page 6. UN Women, NCCC, launch Gender Climate Toolkit. You find that on page 9. NYSC uniform, not a guarantee against arrest and prosecution. That's according to an official. That's on page 6. Constitution review, Kalu 6 parties consensus on women inclusion, local government autonomy. You find that on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. And electoral integrity, Chidoka calls for appointment of INEC staff as RECs. That's on page 9 of the Daily Times. And finally, federal government targets 16 million children for polio and measles vaccination. You find that on page 9 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. This and many more we'll be taking a look at and talking about on Perspectives Unlimited. So keep it locked to Wells Radio 89.3 FM. All right, at this point, bringing our analyst on the show, Mr. Chukwuemeka Kamunachi. So good morning to you.
Good morning, Bola.
How do you do?
I'm okay.
All right, so
by His grace, I'm okay.
Yes, every time I have Mr. Chukwuemeka on the show, I'm always reminded of, his policy of always being hopeful.
Yes.
And looking at life with new lens every day.
Yeah, every day.
And honestly, that's just what can tide you over in this world. Otherwise, one may just fall into hopelessness. So,
one thing, Bola, life is just is not a 100 meters race.
Mm.
You understand? It's a marathon. And then if you live with eternity in view, in mind, you be careful what you do, and knowing full well that you brought nothing here, and you are not
taking
going to
nothing
take,
back.
and nobody lives here alive. You understand? So you take one day at a time. No matter the problem, it will expire.
Very true. Very true. Take it one day at a time, ensuring that you're doing the right thing. All right. This morning we have quite a lot to, unpack.
I was hearing you talking about certificate forgery.
We'll definitely get to that. We'll get to that, but there's so much to unpack. But let's start from Pengassan, because this is not new. This has been on for about 2 weeks now, almost 3 weeks now. We're hearing that Pengassan, that's the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, has tackled the presidency over comments made by Vice President Kashim Shettima condemning the industrial action over a rift with Dangote refinery. Pengassan apparently told Punch on Monday that it would take the same action if its members were sacked again. Now, this comes as some individuals staged a protest in Kaduna, accusing Pengassan of attempting to sabotage the Dangote refinery. So, if you've not heard of this before, Pengassan apparently last week shut down critical oil and gas facilities over allegations that the Dangote refinery sacked 800 workers who joined the union. Dangote, on the other hand, the refinery said it only sacked a few workers who were sabotaging the facility. The Pengassan said, "Oh, you even sacked our people and went ahead to hire 2,000 foreign nationals." So Pengassan went on strike in defense of their colleagues. We learned that they caused a lot of losses in the oil and gas sector. It wasn't just Dangote refinery that was affected, NLNG, NNPCL, and all of them. Companies like that were also affected. Now, the federal government came in and intervened, and Pengassan suspended the strike, and they sounded a note of warning. They said, we are not ending the strike, we're suspending it, and if any of the
if there's a breach.
criteria, if there's a breach in agreement, we're going to go back and go on strike. Let's first talk about the intervention.
Well,
I even want us to talk about the intervention. A lot of people have been looking at it and saying this doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. The agreement was that Dangote was going to redeploy those people. Now, we heard, I believe yesterday, that they have been redeployed to the cement and other arms of the Dangote conglomerate.
Okay.
If you hire me, if when I come, you hire me and I say, "Oh, I'm a driver. I have 50 years of driving experience," and you hire me, and I'm doing a very good job. But because of something like this, you now tell me that you'd redeploy me to the admin department. And I get to the admin department. Isn't it obvious that there's nothing much for a driver to do in the admin department? What is going to be the fate of these 800 people after redeployment?
Well, we are still looking at the problem is still there.
Couldn't they have been brought back to what they were doing before?
Dangote doesn't want to be seen as people dictating what he will do in his workplace. You understand? But deploying those people is not even the answer. Because like what Uja said, if you take a driver who has been driving the trucks and you make him a gate man, you have already killed him. You have already destroyed his morale. You understand? It's not going to work. The next thing we are going to see is that they will begin to sack those people one after the other based on low output that they are no longer performing in their new place. You understand? That is exactly what we are still going to hear. But let's look at what's played out between Pengassan and Dangote. Every decision you make has consequences. Now we are bearing the consequences of that. I'm not saying that Pengassan was wrong for going on strike.
But now there's gas scarcity.
No, for not allowing. There are certain things that especially things like gas. You went and stopped the outflow. People were no longer getting the supply.
But that's why it's called an industrial action.
But it's wrong. You understand? It's wrong. They should have dialogued with Dangote, and Dangote himself shouldn't have sacked those people and brought in foreigners to take their place. I said it sometime when this issue came up, that is lack of patriotism on behalf of on the side of Dangote for sacking Nigerians and bringing in expatriates to take their place. It is wrong. There's no way you can, you don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Now, it is stealing a drum is not a problem. The problem is where are you going to beat it? You understand? Now we have seen the problem now that thing has created. In Lagos, they are buying 1 kg of gas for 3,000. In about here, about 1,400 or 1,800, depending on the area. Now we are seeing the problem, and this thing has not ended because the Pengassin said that if Dangote should go back to what he originally planned to do, they'll be back to the street again.
Now, let's look at the vice president who has then spoken to this matter, because Pengassin is apparently now responding to what the vice president has said. The vice president said that Pengassin is not bigger than Nigeria. He said that Dangote is not an individual, he's an institution and a leading light in Nigeria's economic parliament. He said how we treat this gentleman, that's his words, how we treat this gentleman will determine how outsiders will judge us. If he had invested $10 billion in Microsoft, in Amazon, or in Google, he probably might be worth $70 to $80 billion by now. But he opted to invest in his country, and we owe it to future generations to jealously protect, promote, preserve, and protect the interests of this great Nigerian. So he basically said Nigeria is greater than Pengassin, and Nigeria is greater than each and every one of us. And then Pengassin responded through its national president, who happens to also be the president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, saying that the nation is also bigger than Dangote and even the presidency, and saying that on its own, Pengassin has the mandate to protect the jobs of its members, and that is why it is protecting the job of its members sacked by Dangote for joining the association.
You see, I wish that Shettima didn't say what he said. Because he indicted even his own government. How do you tell people that a nation like Nigeria, it is an individual we are depending on for oil, for gas?
He said it's an institution.
No, it's wrong. We have what it takes to have our own institutions. We have what it takes to have our own refineries. So for him to stand there and be saying that what happened to the ones we have as a country? He even indicted himself. That's why at times, when some of our leaders open their mouth and talk, we begin to wonder, how do they really sit down? Because you shouldn't have said this. You should have said, okay, Pengassin, please, we should not go back to the trenches again. Since Dangote is the one now supplying this thing to us until we fix our refinery, or find something to say, even if you know you're not going to fix it. But for you to be coming to say, this one is who made him an institution? If the country is working, will Dangote alone, are we going to give him the monopoly? But because it is not working, and you are in government, and you are the second in command, so what are you people doing to make sure that that one man is not carrying all our eggs? We don't put all our eggs in basket. You didn't address all that one. You are saying, I'm not saying that he shouldn't defend it, but the issue is that for him to say, oh, this is an institution, what happened to our own institution? What happened to our own oil field? What happened to all the licenses? What is government doing? Can a country like Nigeria, as big as Nigeria, only one man is doing what the government ought to do? Now,
in Kaduna yesterday, protesters took to the streets to march in solidarity with the Dangote refinery. They said that there's a well-connected oil importation cartel and elements within the labor movement trying to frustrate Dangote's refinery. Is this the people against? Is it Pengassin against the people? Is it the people with Dangote? Should it be a case of this or that? And why only in Kaduna?
No, we are very, very. When it comes to things like this, we interpret it in so many ways. Those people in Kaduna may have their reasons for coming out, but it has not come to that. You understand? And I said it earlier on that Pengassin should not hold Nigerians hostage. We have a lot of issues on our hands.
But how do they drive home their points?
There are so many. Look, I believe in dialogue, Bola. I so much believe in dialogue. I believe that there's nothing we cannot address through dialogue. You understand? And I keep saying that violence is the weapon of the weak. When a man runs out of ideas, he becomes violent. When a man runs out of ideas, he becomes he comes to the street with red eyes and cordials. There's always a room to sit down and judge. I believe so much in it. It's only on extreme cases, like the case of terrorism and banditry in Nigeria. I stand against appeasement policy of the government through terrorists and bandits. The state should kill terrorists and bandits. Let them go to heaven. If they let them go and meet their maker. If he forgives them, fine. If he grants them amnesty, fine. If he deploys them into heavenly army, fine. But the state must kill them. You understand? As a deterrent to others that might rise up to take up arms against the state. That is my view. That is the area where I don't believe in dialogue. But for every other thing, I believe in dialogue. But when it comes to an individual taking up arms, killing people, raping women, kill him. Let him go to his maker. And if his maker forgives him, fine. That's where I stand. But when it comes to industrial matters, there is still need for that compromise. Meet me halfway, I'll meet you for the sake of the people. Because whatever we do in Nigeria must be in the interest of the public and the truth. Because the public now buying gas at 3,000 per kg, they don't even know, some of them don't even know what is gassing. Or they hear Dangote as a name. They don't even know what he's doing. You understand what I'm saying? So we must always think in the for public interest, take actions in public interest. What if, you understand, there is always give and take, a compromise, middle of the road. That's when it comes to maintaining industrial peace. You understand what I'm saying? Only in cases of terrorism and banditry, I don't support dialogue. Kill them. Yes, let them go to heaven if there is anywhere they are going to.
Thank you so much, Chukwemeka, for that. I will continue to monitor that, honestly, because it's on all sides. Either way, it affects Nigerians. If these 800 people lose their jobs, that's 800 Nigerians losing.
Not 800 Nigerians. They have dependents.
That's what I'm saying. 800 Nigerians and their families losing their source of income. At the same time, if these strike actions go on and on, we can see just a little bit of effect. They were just off for about 2 to 3 days. And we can see what's happening with gas. And the losses that the NNPCL and the NLNG and even Dangote made. And also on the side of the Dangote refinery as well, we can... Many people may not like him or whatever, but he still remains, the leading voice in crude refining in Nigeria at the moment. So which is a big win for the nation. At least we're not buying petrol in dollars, anymore. So let's move on to other stories this morning. We'll also have Senator Natasha resuming today at the Senate after 6 months of suspension. She will be officially resuming plenary sessions alongside other lawmakers. Now, we know that when her office was unsealed, she said that she learned that part of the conditions for bringing her back is for her to apologize to the Senate.
To the Senate.
And she said she's not going to apologize. So I guess today we'll see if she's going to, eat her words. Let me use that. Maybe she used that phrase. If she's going to eat her words and let peace reign, or if she's still going to go on the path of, on the war path. But what do you think, Chukwemeka?
What is the need for the apology? Is it that what happened to her did not happen? Or the harassment, she was no longer harassed? You see, these people just want to massage their ego. They don't want to be. They want to be seen as yes, we have whatever we say, we have it. It is not. What is she apologizing for? They should tell her, okay, is it that I was not sexually harassed, or is it that I was not what I said I didn't say it, or what is he going to apologize for? You see, they should let sleeping dogs lie. They should forget whether apology or no apology. Let this woman return back to her office. And do what, and because the
people of Kogi are missing out at the moment.
Yes, they don't care. It's not about it's not about people. It's about ego. It's about individual ego. It's about we are there, forgetting that you can't be in the Senate forever. Go and check those. Aton Zeribe was there for a long time. David Mark was there for how many years? A lot of people will have been in that. Where are they today? You understand? It's a fleeting moment. You are just there for a time being. You will leave. And when you leave, how will history judge you? How will you be recorded? How will people anytime they mention your name, what will be in the minds of the people? Nobody should be living for. There are so many things. You see, apology or no apology, this is not even the problem of Nigeria. They are not even looking at what is happening to the people they govern. It's because they don't care. If you care, what should agitate your mind is, how do we make this nation livable for our citizens? Not about apology. Not about coming there to, no. You should sit down and engage in and find a way to have a robust engagement with Nigerians on how to move the nation forward. Not about apology or no apology. Who cares about apology?
Well, don't forget that Senator Oduekun also, after the unsealing of her office and she resumed to her office, had referred to the Senate President as a dictator.
It's already showing now when you are fixated on collecting an apology and obsessed with apology. What does it show? It shows that, look, Ebola, when you see a man that has something upstairs, when you see somebody, you see people who know what they are doing. They don't care. They don't seek validation from anybody. They know what they are meant to do. They will do it. Whether you greet them or don't, even Dangote, look at, there was a time I read a piece on Dangote. You know what Dangote said? He said when it comes to his factory or everywhere, he says some people don't even greet him. He says he's happy as far as they are doing their job. Honestly speaking, that's a man. But there are some people, if you don't greet them, you are in trouble. They can even demote you. I don't know whether you know what I'm saying. You understand? It doesn't make any sense. I'm in that class. Whether you greet me or don't greet me, it doesn't make sense. I know where I'm going. I know what I have in mind. So, but when a man is so encumbered, so obsessed with apologize to me, do this, who are you? Even God said, come, let us reason together. He's not even God who created us. He's not even asking us to come and apologize. He said, come, sit down, let us reason together. Who are you? That's the question. What are you today that nobody has ever become in life? That's the thing that will keep us humble and rooted to the earth. Not apology. Apology for what?
Thank you so much, Chukwemeka, for that. We'll continue to monitor that as well. I mean, she's set to resume. We'll see what happens if she's truly able to resume today. Moving on, we'll take a break shortly, but let me take this headline. The headline on the Punch says, Enugu Governor, Minister trade words over alleged certificate forgery. Now, the controversy surrounding the academic credentials of the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji, deepened on Monday as his media aide, Robert Ongo, accused the Enugu State Governor, Peter Mba, of orchestrating a smear campaign against the minister. But in a swift reaction, the governor denied the allegation, asking the minister to, in quotes, carry your cross. Speaking during a press conference in Abuja, the minister's aide denied allegations that his principal, Nnaji, forged his university and National Youth Service Corps certificates, describing the claims as politically motivated. He alleged that the campaign was being driven by Mba to discredit the minister for political reasons. He said all these sponsored events are being coordinated by Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State, whom he accused of making Nnaji the scapegoat for his various challenges. He said Mba is reportedly seeking a second term, and he views Nnaji as an obstacle to his rumored plan to defect to the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party. I want to take your mind back to a particular woman, Kemi Adeosun. She didn't even school in Nigeria. She is a former finance minister. She didn't school in Nigeria. And so, she schooled outside of the country, in London, in East London, and then came back to Nigeria after, getting so many certificates and everything over there. Came back to Nigeria, when you don't want to serve or there's a process, you have to get an exemption certificate, and got the exemption certificate and was made the Minister of Finance. We'll take a short break, please. Okay. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about this. Don't go anywhere. It's Perspective Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM.
FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Are you looking to farm but don't know what's profitable and fast to plant? Do you want a business that brings results and income quickly? Then Cucumber is the answer. And World Radio 89.3 FM in conjunction with Olat Farms is here to show you how. Join our 2-day practical cucumber farming training October 17 and 18 from 11 a.m. daily at World Radio 89.3 FM off Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. For just 30,000 naira, you will learn site selection, land preparation, open field cultivation, pest control, irrigation, marketing strategies, and more. Grow smarter, harvest bigger with West Radio and Olat Farms. Register today. Send "I am interested in cucumber training" to 0813-864-2544 or 0803-509-3394. Don't wait. A healthy harvest starts with the right knowledge.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The general public is hereby advised to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Verify the licensing status of such schemes on these websites: www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng, www.fsrcc.gov.ng. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call CBN 0817-665-7060, 0707-338-4828, SEC 0209-462-1168. Announcer, FSRCC.
Boost your business with Wells Radio 89.3 FM. In a competitive world of business, strategic brand and product positioning is key to growth. Don't remain unseen in the shadows. Shine a spotlight on your brand with Wells Radio 89.3 FM today. Why Wells Radio? We are your state's #1 family radio station. We connect with the heart of families in your state. As the smallest unit of the society, families trust Wells Radio for quality content and information. Visit us today along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Our white and blue building just before Sharp Corner ensures your business won't go unnoticed. Advertise with us today. Call our marketing office on 0903-936-8185. Call Toby on 0803-509-3394. Ayo on 0706-840-7359. Take the leap today. Let Wells Radio 89.3 FM be the megaphone for your business success. You won't regret it.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go! Hey there! Want to stay connected to your favorite radio station? Follow us on social media for the latest updates, entertaining wholesome content, and behind-the-scene peaks. We're on Instagram at Wells Radio 893, Facebook Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, X Wells Radio 893. Follow our WhatsApp channel Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Get a scoop on upcoming shows, giveaways, and events. Also get to interact with your favorite presenters and share your thoughts on our posts and stories. Join the conversation and stay tuned into Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
All right, you're welcome back to Wells Radio 89.3 FM. The program is Perspectives Unlimited, and here we're taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. All right, we're looking at the current skirmish between the governor of Enugu State and the minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji. And I was telling the story of Kemi Adeosun. But, okay, I can see we're having calls. I'll put out the studio lines so that people can join us. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-333-3893. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to
good
you.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning to you, madam. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, ma'am. Ruth calling from Malaka.
You're welcome, Ruth. Let's have your contribution.
Thank you, ma'am. As regards Senator Natasha, zooming back to our office, really a good one. So I will employ the Senate President and other senators to come together as one in doing the needful for their people, instead of all the long drama we just experienced from the people who were elected to make laws that will move the country forward. But the other is the case, that they just keep doing their own. So I will just urge them, they shall allow this woman to rest and do the needful for the people. Good morning, ma.
Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Now, the phone lines are officially open. You can be a part of the conversation. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-333-3893. Now, Kemi Adeosun became the Minister of Finance in Nigeria. And we were told at Premium Times alleged that she illegally obtained her NYSC exemption certificate to get into public office. Then on July 9, the NYSC Director of Press and Public Relations, she was accused on July 7th. On the 9th of July, the NYSC Director of Press and Public Relations released a statement that confirmed that she legitimately submitted a request for an exemption certificate.
Okay.
You know, but eventually got a fake certificate without her knowledge. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, West Radio.
Good morning, sir. Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
I'll switch it off.
All right, sir. Your name and where you're
My
calling from?
name is George. I'm calling you from Oduekun-Ayoola.
Good morning, Mr. George. You're welcome.
Chukwemeka, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. You see, when you were discussing Dangote, that's why I had to call immediately. I look at the way we are handling issues in Nigeria. If we do not drop this issue of sectionalism, tribal and religion, that is how Nigeria is going to move on continuously, and it's not going to pay off for us. The Vice President said something, but if we want to address it, and we are now looking at the Vice President from where he comes from, or the way he put his support towards people's behavior towards Dangote, we will not get things right. How many days do they go on this warning strike? Look at what people are suffering now. The 12 kg gas that they were selling for 12,000 something, people are buying it for 20 something thousand. So many eateries and so on today. They don't use firewood or coal to cook. Everybody is using gas. But look at the suffering they have passed through now. For how many days now that this thing started? We should make Nigeria to grow. We should not continue to destroy the little gains we have made from the policies they are bringing, which are not very good for the masses. so that we can move this country forward. Let's drop sentiment. If there is a law that guides certain things, like the issue of sacking or not sacking, they should implement it to the letter so that we will not be having this type of problem continuously. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. George, for your contribution this morning. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. Now, to make this quick, later on, she then resigned on the 14th of September as Minister of Finance in a letter, due to the NYSC certificate forgery scandal. Only on July 2021, the Abuja division of the Federal High Court cleared her, saying that as a British citizen, she had been qualified not to take part in NYSC at the time she graduated at the age of 22. And when she returned to the country and became a Nigerian citizen, she was over 30 and not eligible for youth service. I'm saying this because you can see a clear case of, what's the key word here? The word is not coming, but you can see a clear case of someone who values their name and, she hadn't been declared guilty.
No, she was not.
But
even the press went after her.
Yes, vehemently. Yes. I must say
she left,
and she left. She a peaceful exit.
Yes.
I don't want to get involved in this. Let the investigators go and
it was not even her fault.
It wasn't her fault because she did the right thing.
Yes, let me tell you something, Bola.
Before you get to it, on the other hand, what we're seeing now from the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji, is that the university, I saw the tweets yesterday.
I saw it also.
The university said, we can ascertain that this man, was matriculated, got admitted into the school to study so and so, but we cannot find records of him graduating from the school.
Yeah, you see, Bola, fake degrees are a serious threat to states' credibility. And it undermines public trust in institutions. And when a government turns a blind eye to such practices, it exposes severe weakness in the legal and educational system, as well as widespread administrative corruption. You understand? Fake certificates undermine academic integrity, and you give positions to unqualified people. Imagine where, let's look at what you see, we are in the era whereby a lot of people parade certificates that you don't understand where they got it from. Yes, I've been saying this for a very long time that, look, but because of the attachment we have to certificate, we are certificated people. Nobody bothers whether you have the skill commensurate with the certificate you have. No, once you present a certificate, you are taken. Okay, imagine it is scary in medicine. Imagine what it will lead to: severe harm, including permanent disabilities and death. Imagine somebody in a medical practice with a fake certificate, and he is to undertake surgery on somebody. Bola, just imagine somebody standing with you, dressed as a medical doctor, but with fake certificate. He will open somebody's womb. He may even forget.
We've had cases.
I'm coming, Bola.
Like
you see, so we are in fake degree crisis. Unqualified practitioners have entered into so many areas where they have no business to be there, and this epidemic of forged academic degrees is afflicting our land. And fake diploma, and some schools now are certificate mails. Once you have the connection, they can give it to you. Okay, imagine if Nigeria launches a probe or investigation of all the certificates paraded by our leaders. More than half will be invalidated. And it is scary to deal with people whose qualifications are not real.
Well, we can't come out and say that their qualifications may or may not be real because we don't know.
No, I'm coming. I know what I'm saying. Certificates, when you deal with people who are unqualified, but they are parading certificates, Bola, it is scary. This is just a tip of the iceberg. If you check, that's why I said if you launch a probe, you will see that a lot of Nigerians working in offices, they are working with fake certificate. They can't defend it. That's why you see somebody who will tell you, I am this. And you begin to ask him question in line of what he claimed to have studied. He doesn't know anything. Because we believe that once you parade, must all of us have certificates? Some people are qualified in what they are doing, but they don't have a certificate. And because that's why there's a difference between what we do here and what they do abroad. They will first of all text the scale. My friend went to one country. He presented all the certificates in Nigeria here. They threw it away. You know what they told him? Come and stay here and do the work. Let us see you. It was when he started doing that work, they now asked for certificate. But in Nigeria, you present certificate first before they ask you to come and do the work. If you go to some offices, those who are not even qualified are at the helm of affairs. Those who know the job are the one doing the work, which those who are qualified are taking glory. That is, you know, I'm not saying certificate is not good though. I have one. But what I'm saying is that, are you qualified? Can you defend that certificate? I brought a woman here sometime from a particular popular school in this area. He came here for an interview and she said something that struck me. He said in their school that what they have is righteous certificate. I said, what do you mean by righteous certificate? He said certificate students can defend anywhere, anytime. That is what she called righteous certificate. It struck me. And that is what we should be having in Nigeria. Not somebody bringing a certificate from you don't even have certificate. You claim to have one and you present this thing. But even imagine, do you know why houses are collapsing in Nigeria like pack of cards? Imagine an engineer who does not have certificate, but he has a certificate as an engineer. You give him a contract to build a house for you. What do you think will happen to that house? All
right, we urged the Honorable Minister to, there's no need for, saying, it's politically motivated. That storyline is...
I'm coming. Just hold it there. The governor of the governor of Kwara State came out last week to say that Mahmuda, terrorist that overran a fellow of the local government, he blamed it on a former governor, Bukola Saraki. What has Bukola Saraki got to do with Mahmuda? Just people are looking for, we make excuses for our failure to do the needful. It shouldn't be that way. Peter Amba, what does he? Is he the one that told you to go and get a certificate that you didn't have?
Well, Governor Peter Amba has told him to carry his cross.
Simple.
And rightfully so, because right now, as I am, if someone said, "Oh, Bolanle, you didn't graduate from school, you didn't serve." It's very simple. Just go into my wardrobe and bring out my certificate,
and let them call the school.
And post it online. Then call the school for the verified true copy.
Did the Bola come here?
If you want, so it's just as easy as that. There's no need to drag politics into
it and talk of 2027. What has that got to do with certificate they say you forged? You come out and clear. Look, Bola, if they say that a man stole a goat, he should not be entertaining people with dry meat. You understand? You go and clear your name. Forget about 2027. This is about certificate, not about 2027. Simple. Call the school. School, did I come here or not? Come and clarify me. You didn't do any of those things.
All right, moving on. The phone lines are still open. You can be a part of the conversation this morning. Call us 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. This headline says, 2027, lawyer asks court to stop Jonathan from contesting. A legal practitioner, John Mary Jideobi, on Monday asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to issue a perpetual injunction restraining former President Goodluck Jonathan from presenting himself to any political party in Nigeria for the purpose of contesting the 2027 presidential election. He listed Jonathan as the first defendant in the suit, also listed the INEC and the Attorney General of the Federation as second and third, respectively. He said... He prayed the court for an order to restrain INEC from accepting or publishing Jonathan's name as a duly nominated candidate for the presidential contest under any party at all. Because his argument is that if Jonathan were to contest and win the 2027 presidential election, which has a 4-year term from 2027 to 2031, he would exceed the constitutionally allowed maximum of 8 years in office as president of Nigeria. Now, we know how Jonathan came in, which maybe it was not his fault.
Let me tell you something, Bola, about our lawyers. Some of them are very, very, some of them are, I respect the profession, but the way some of them go about their work, you begin to wonder what actually, how did they even get the certificate? You understand? I don't know why why some people are afraid of Jonathan coming back.
But let's look at the legitimacy of this.
Yes. How did Jonathan become president?
Good.
That is it. Somebody died. He came in to fill the position. How did he become? Because that lacuna must be filled. He didn't just, okay, do they expect him to go home after Yaradua died and they will bring another person? No, that is it. You know, here we turn law. In our constitution, we say that if you're somebody who has dual citizenship should not be play any leading role in Nigeria. But we have a lot of our elected leaders who have dual citizenship. That is it. So it is not just making laws; it's implementation that is the issue. If we want to implement it, then we start from the beginning and implement everything. Those who have a passport of other countries and they are our leaders, they should also go away because it's against our constitution. But they have it. So it's not that, why are they, I don't know why some people are afraid of Jonathan coming back. If Jonathan is my brother, I will tell him not to contest again. Let him go and the same people that called him all manner of names are the same people that are propping him to come out. You say that this man, some of them came out and said anything but Jonathan. I read it. Some of them, they even called him drunkards, a drunken sailor. There's no name they didn't call him. The man eventually left, handed over power. And now, internationally, Jonathan has a reputation. Yes, he has been going all over the world. They have been nominating him here and there, go and do this and do that and do that. And he has been doing it, just like Obasanjo is doing. And you now want to come and soil your name again. He should leave these people alone. They are scared about him coming back. I don't know why they are so scared. I don't know, because for me, I can't give my vote to Jonathan. Let him go and rest. You understand? You leave when the ovation is loudest. You have done your own. You go with that accolade. You have already the name you have made. Go with it before these people will ruin your life, and soil it perpetually, because you are going. Nigerian politics is like swimming in a shark-infested ocean. You understand? A lot of things. And I remember what he said. He said, no Nigerian should shed his blood for him. He made a lot of statements, which history has documented.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mario. How do you do?
Good morning, sir. Mr. Mario.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
I think the lawyer that Jonathan to court, I think I have an interest in that lawyer. First and foremost, I want to ensure that he or she has the certificate as well, so that it will be like the what I would like to run a check on the lawyer. So I'm going to go through his profile. Now, the question is this: is Jonathan not a Nigerian? Is Jonathan not? Is he under this post? Is he not viable, or is he not competent enough to vote? And it's not competent enough to be voted for. He came back some time ago when the late Jonathan was president, and he happens to be the vice president. And Jonathan died while in office, and according to the constitution, he ought to be the vice president to be sworn in as the president, which was done to him. So on that ground, he was able to complete the tenure of Jonathan. And after that, he came again and contested as an individual, and he won. So according to the constitution, Jonathan is having a 4-year more term to go. That is, if he's been elected, then he has a 4 more years to go. So I think the lawyer that took that case to court, I think we have to examine the lawyer, because this is a very, we have so many things in the country that get our attention. There are so many people in the cell, in the prison, that have done nothing, and they are languishing in the prison. Have you ever seen a lawyer to rise and defend them? Have you ever seen a lawyer to go to the prison and say, okay, those of you who are languishing in prison, who have no money to bail yourself, or who have no money to pay as fine, then you can give it the lawyer will come and stand in for them. We don't have such. But we don't have lawyers that will come and tell us that somebody not contest. I think that is the ability. And lastly, on the issue of the minister that forged the certificate, I think it is high time you run a check on all ministers and all positions that are serving in this regime, because we cannot allow the non-competent individual who has got certificate to be really allies. It is not done anywhere. If it was to be lieutenant line, what the minister would have withdrawn, as in would have signed out automatically. So we are calling on the minister to leave that position and let's see the verification of all some ministers and all other positions in the country. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mari, for your contributions this morning. Now, ASU is mobilizing its chapters for a nationwide warning strike starting October 13, 2025 to press home its demands from the federal government. It was contained in a memo tagged Strike Bulletin 1 sent to all branches on Monday. Apparently, this follows a 2-week ultimatum that was issued by the union last week, asking the federal government to address its unresolved issues, including the signing and implementation of the renegotiated 2009 ASU federal government agreement.
Well,
it's tiring,
It is.
For those of us citizens who, hear this every time. ASU has been shouting to the ends of the world about this particular issue.
Yes, 2009.
And, we won't be shocked to see that the federal government, about the night before the strike, then reaches out to ASU to say, let's talk, let's sit down and talk. But we're tired of,
But that's why I said the Senate, they are obsessed with apology. Look at the weightier issue we have on the ground. ASU going on strike. You don't blame them. Their children are not here. If their children are here, they will wait in. Even before the thing, not like, okay, look at what happened between Dangote and Pengasson. Was it not at the dying minute that the Minister of Labour came out and began to gather people together and say, okay, let's come and why did you stay too long? Why not nip the issue in the board in the first place? That's why I say it's not about governance. It's about just being in an office, being called this one, being called this one. The weightier issues that concern the people, how are you addressing it? We are talking about apology. ASU is preparing. And the consequences of children coming back home.
Especially because most of them are just resuming again. Let's also take a look at this matter because time is not on our side. The headline says, joint protests risk punishment. National Assembly warns legislative workers. Apparently, the management of the National Assembly is warning parliamentary workers against proceeding with their planned protests and picketing of the complex as lawmakers resume plenary today. In a circular that was signed by the Secretary of Human Resources and Staff Development, SCN AUSCN, on behalf of the clerks to the National Assembly, Kamoru Gulano, the management cautioned that any attempt to disrupt legislative activities would attract severe disciplinary measures. He said it must be emphasized that membership of PASAN or any union is entirely voluntary, and any staff member, whether an executive or regular member, who is dissatisfied with the conduct of union affairs may freely withdraw their membership in accordance with established rules. He went on and on to say that the management is instructing all staff to ignore any calls for industrial action, saying that they should, go on with their official duties.
Now, the action of these people borders on welfare.
Welfare.
That's what I'm saying. These people, you eat, you don't want others to eat. You take care of yourselves. Then when others are saying that, can't we have our own share? You say, don't go on strike. Don't go on eat it. Look, but I know they want to, unionism now is in the front burner. Don't join. If you join, don't do this. They are trying to whittle down. As you know, it can't work. Look at Konwa and ASU. Do we hear of Konwa? Oh.
As we gradually wrap up, President Bola Tinubu has summoned a meeting of the Council of State and the Police Council for Thursday, October 9, to deliberate on the escalating insecurity across parts of the country and other pressing national issues. Let's not forget the story that is in the dailies of insecurity heavily in northern Nigeria, especially on Nigerian Christians. We will continue to shout this and, say this on the airwaves that Nigerian Christians are being killed in northern states, and we urge the federal government to see to this. This has gone beyond Nigeria. Even foreign countries are talking about
These are things that should occupy the minds of our senators. They are talking of apology. People are Nigerians in Kirawa in the north. I don't know the state. They are living in Cameroon. There was one community leader. They burned down his palace. He has gone to live in Cameroon. There is one, the one happening in as in Huara right now as we're talking. Nobody's addressing it.
All right. We wish we had more time, but there's no more time on the show. Thank you to everyone who has joined the conversation this morning. Thank you to those who also sent in their comments. I did Damola Okunola on Facebook. Thank you so much. And to those who called, we say a big thank you. And that's it on Perspectives Unlimited. Thank you so much, Ukemeka.
Thank you for having
me. My name is
Bola.
Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. Go out today and be the salt of the world. In all you do, love your neighbor as yourself. Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wells Radio 8